Hi, thanks again for joining us. This is Trickster. I'm hosting this edition of S.H.E Gallery. I'm joined by esteemed guests, which I'll introduce in a moment. Again, don't forget, you can give us a call at 312-738-1060. Our topic, again, being the future of graffiti and street art as it exists today and how it will be steered into the future. We as artists need to be mindful of this, as we can be at the forefront of this push, and I think it's essential that we do. Again, this is S.H.E Gallery. You can contact us online at sharinghisenergygallery.net. We're live at CAN TV. You can reach us online at CAN TV /hotline. Okay, our topic, again, being the future of the art form, the hip-hop culture in general, and we're looking forward to hearing some nice dialogue from our esteemed guests. Essentially, we're joined today by S.H.E 500. He's a great friend of mine, and he comes from the neighborhood, essentially where I began, in the hip-hop form. He'll be speaking momentarily. We're joined by a great friend of mine, Slang, and mentor of mine, Slang, as everyone may be familiar with him. For those of you who are not, he is Slang. He is a master artist, professional craftsman. He works in various mediums, including animation, caricature artist, airbrush art, oils, and many other mediums. We're greatly being honored having him join us this evening. We're great to have you, and you can reach us online again, or you can give us a call, 312-738-1060. I'm Trickster, your host. And in retrospect, we talked about the phenomenon of graffiti as we started this episode, and we perused on through to various other topics which are available online, and you can contact us online. I'll put this information online for you. Okay, we're going to recap the episodes really quickly, and then we're going to hear something from our guests this evening. Okay, initially we talked about the phenomenon of graffiti, which week 1, and then we talked about the art and craft, week 2. Week 3 we talked about galleries and collectors. Week 4 we talked about education and vocation. Week 5 we talked about entrepreneurship. Week 6, we talked about sociological and historical implications. Week 7, we talked about technology. Week 8, we talked about science. Week 9, our most recent episode, we talked about the symbolic relations. Tonight, we're talking about the future. Okay, we're joined by our guest this evening, S.H.E 500. Thanks for joining us this evening. All right. Good to be here with you, brother. Go ahead, feel free to express yourself. This is S.H.E 500. He is a noted community activist. He works in the hip-hop field. He's been a practitioner for a while. You know, he's like 5 elements. How we do it? Go ahead, speak for yourself, brother.
You know what, man, I'm glad to be here because the elements have gotten us so far. It's taken us all across the globe. And whether it's b-boying, MCing, graffiti, the knowledge part, everything that we do, and the graffiti part, we had to do them all when I was young. It wasn't, you didn't pick one, you did everything you could do. And I don't think we knew exactly what we were doing, but we were doing something. You know what I mean? Whether it was the doodle, whether it was the wall, whether it was the desk, whatever it was, we created something out of nothing all the time. And I think that's what made hip-hop last so long. When they told us it wasn't going to be here, it's still here. Look, we on your show.
Thanks for being here.
From the neighborhood to the show still. So.
All right. Give us a call in. S.H.E Gallery, 312-738-1060. We're joined by a very esteemed guest. Again, Salim has been active in the community, being a producer, He also hosts various events across the Chicagoland area as they relate to community development issues. And in addition to that, he creates entertainment venues and works with multiple artists across the nation. Slang, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, man.
Glad to have you here. Slang is a great, no doubt. Slang is a great friend and mentor of mine. We've been since he befriended me. We've been introduced through mutual friendships from artists that have ventured here from New York and other areas, and I appreciate it. Yes, Akbar, Slang Rock. Yeah, it is how we became introduced, and since I've been working with Slang has been a great mentor for me. He has worked with me in different varying aspects of the arts. He's a master artist, and I'll let him speak for himself.
Well, close friend for what? Where we at? 4 decades?
Yeah, we have 4 decades, more than that.
Yeah.
Say
4 decades, but yeah, it's been 4 decades now, and you've definitely been like the engine, and the alternator to the entire movement in the city. So it's truly an honor.
Okay, give us a second. We have a caller. Okay, thanks for joining us, caller. Go ahead.
Hello, how is everyone?
Thanks for calling us. Who do we have the honor of speaking to?
Bledsoe, and that young man, that handsome young man on your show, that's my baby boy.
Oh my goodness.
Which one? It's a lot of handsome young men.
Right, it's 3 of them up here.
Which one?
Which one?
Thank you for calling.
Bledsoe, are you there?
That is my baby boy.
All right.
And he is just a wonderful young man.
Well, thanks for sharing this. You're filling us with this energy. It's so great. We really appreciate it.
And I'm very proud of him and all of you on that show because you have made hip-hop stay alive for so many years.
Well, thank you.
Everyone else thought it was going to go away.
Yes, indeed. We've been blessed. I always said, I mean, as I came into it as a youth, we talked initially in our first episode about the phenomena, and as you just heard, Celine 500 just said that it was spontaneous. We didn't know what we were doing. We were doing it for the love of it.
Still here.
We feel it's a God-given gift. I mean, it kept us away from violence and violent content and endeavors, and it created such a visual, energetic outlet to reconvert, and divert energies that were being programmed wrong.
She was one of the people that let our whole community come to our house. That's why they call it the House of Hip Hop.
All right.
Because we could play music. My father had hundreds. She worked for Midwest Rose Records for years. So we had records, cutouts. That's the same man that started George Daniels.
Okay.
And Ramsey Lewis was the first black man to work downtown in their stores. So music has always been in my soul and in my heart. And my parents allowed 40, 50 youth to be in our house. You know what I mean? We had parties, barbecues, we did music, and they gave us a chance to explore what we were doing and not be on the street. So hip-hop has saved me and saved a whole lot of us in Thirstyville, for real.
Man, I'm thinking about the boogie shop right now. I remember coming from Frederick Douglass, man, and stopping at the boogie shop, getting wrecked right there on the corner, right by the boogie shop. I used to keep the speakers outside. This was, come on, man, we got so much history here, man. A lot of cats don't know, like, hip-hop, man. We invented speakers and turntables here in Illinois.
Right.
It's amazing. Okay, we have a caller. Thanks for joining us.
Spray Can was here, too.
Are you with us, caller?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and who may we be speaking to this evening?
This is Queen Zenobia.
Queen Zenobia, yes, a hip-hop originator, teacher, founder, educator, motivator, crowd rocking, MC. What's up with you? How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. I got a question for your guest there, P. Salim, and my brother there, Slang, y'all. All right, it's real hard but real simple. So back in the day, doing graffiti was illegal, but now certain parts of graffiti are legal. Where do you see the future of graffiti as from the past to the present? Like, how do you take that? What do you got a couple sentences to share with me on that?
Well, openly take it and accept it for what it is. It's the change and acceptance of what people gain and learn to gain an understanding of and not be fearful of. What was the issue of graffiti when it was born, which was the same thing that attracted the youth, was that it couldn't be deciphered or understood by the masses.
Right.
So anything, as you know, the history of fear is things that can't be understood or things that people, fear. People couldn't decipher this this language that was the abstractions of typography, which was the youth creating their own versions or styles of lettering.
Right.
So the majority of the masses, as it was born, it was new. And because it was so new that people really couldn't decipher or understand, so they felt like they couldn't connect, or they was left on the outside of it. It's almost as if you're thinking about something like satirical. They think about The Simpsons in a sense, and how they use and tie in those ideas of or popular culture, things that's going on in America. If you're from another country and you're just learning English, you can't understand the inside jokes or the inside things that's tied to it. The people who couldn't see what graffiti was, these beautiful colors and these ideas, or these pushing the boundaries of typography and playing around with text, it scared the masses, and especially the people who were maybe uptight or not as open as they felt they were, whether they felt they was connected to contemporary art. Contemporary art, graffiti in itself was that movement that is born from America's youth. So the fear of it was just the same fear as it was of the people who was afraid of blues, who wanted to try and tie and connect that to country western, which is really the same thing. The people who was afraid of rock music, which was, of course, being done by Little Richard and so many other artists. They were afraid of these movements at first, but now as things grow and people connect with it more, or find or embark or evolve into ways of seeing and identifying and connecting it with themselves, they accept it more. So right now, I think what the kind of bastard child of graffiti right now is street art, and as these documentaries and all these things and that's tied to now accepted, now graffiti is also being accepted in a sense.
all over the world.
Yeah. Around the entire world, and as you know, most of the movements are mostly accepted by countries.
Excuse me, let me interject. That's how we mentioned earlier. That's how we recall when we mentioned earlier about street art. We created that term. We used that as a derivative term to appease the media's placement of the term graffiti onto what we do, because we called ourselves writers.
Okay, gotcha.
So we used that term to give reference. This was during the 80s when we had trouble. If you recall our whole episode when I mentioned the Hairpin Gallery and we talked about the art forms, and we looked at the street map and we talked about how the art forms evolved. And then when graffiti came, what preceded us was the outsider art movement, and the outsider art movement, which was a collection of artists leaving the gallery because even the attempt to join the gallery or even being in the gallery after mainstream artists weren't being accepted and allowed to exhibit. So outsider art moved into another gallery genre and active area, and we took it to the next level. We took art outside of the gallery. Now, as we saw before, in the irony, they're bringing the wall back into the gallery. The wall itself, they're cutting the whole wall off, B.
Just bring the wall.
They put it in the museum.
You know what, man? That amazes me. My guy sent me some pictures. He was in Germany, and he's like, "Hey, man, I came out of this place, and I looked up, and I see the guys 50 feet tall on buildings."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's amazing to see somebody from your neighborhood that tall on a building, and you're in another country.
Yeah.
Okay. For reference here, let me give some video information and how you can connect us online. Again, you can give us a call. We appreciate the calls, the input. It is with you that we grow. Please increase our viewership and our numbers and ratings. We appreciate you for calling in. You can give us a call at 312-738-1060. This is our finale session. We look forward to introducing our producer and host in a moment, which will detail other activities for the next season. Again, you can contact us online here. The S.H.E Gallery Show, sharing his energy, gallery.net, and you can contact us via email or the personal phone number here, 312-622-2837. We're going to take a quick look at some video reference, and we talk about the future of graffiti let's take a quick look. Let's go to YouTube very fast. And then we're going to have our guest in their session. And we're going to have our producer come in. When we talk about graffiti, yeah, you can talk while I'm doing it.
I'm excited about the future. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Hope as good as our past.
Well, it definitely is. Everything is grown, and there's more people participating in every area of it. Of course, in the monetary sense, of course, rap was the first, arena to really grow.
Do you see the art going the same way? Because I know how the music did.
Well, the art has been a tricky one because because of what is being accepted in art has always been that in history. Like who is the ones who have the biggest horns, the biggest investors, and then also I'm one of the few that actually believe that that's directly engineered and steered to create almost like a newer way of if you think about like the trade system, like the Board of Trade and how that's made. Artists now are made in the sense of, if you think about Andy Warhol, before he even became popular, people were buying up hundreds of his pieces. And were these traders buying his work to create a revenue stream as far as trade, or was it a true like or need or desire or a connection with his work? No, I believe that was a formula. I would believe that was a formula of very wealthy people making people popular enough so they can
I truly believe.
Finance
That I truly believe.
to stabilize and create finance.
Do you think that's a way to keep and control it?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
It's capitalist society.
That's what the
exactly
youngins need
what
to
it is.
understand, right?
No, the youngins need to
That's why
understand.
they can't beat us, because we'll create something else.
Yeah, we'll
make
create something
something
else, but also those the people who are in charge. I mean, you think about it in the sense of versus Basquiat to Ramelzi.
Right.
Ramelzi, the quintessential artist and pioneer. He is, as it stands, one of the shining lights and beacons in urban culture in the last 100 years.
Yes, I agree. He was a Renaissance man. He was a true Renaissance man.
Everybody knows Basquiat's name.
Right.
Is it because Jay-Z gives it a shout out, or is it because that those guys, the same wealthy people collectors who bought out entire shows to make someone popular, versus the fact that Ramelzi and Dondi is Basquiat's greatest influences. Right. If he was alive today, I've actually
he would probably say that.
Exactly, he would say it,
right.
And also would Keith Haring.
Right.
Would they say that? Would they say Andy Warhol was the preliminary movement person of that movement, or would they go back to the guys that influenced them directly outside of the monetary gain or the people who were being highlighted?
See, that's why we got to celebrate. That's why I'm glad both of y'all here. Because you know what? Because we have to celebrate ours while they're here. Mm-hmm. We all did art, but y'all do it. You know what I mean? That y'all taking it to a place where the name is bigger than the person, and y'all so humble when we see you, you always put the art first. So that's a way a teacher can expose a student. A student can turn into a scholar, and the scholar can become the teacher can become the scholar. It just goes back and forth. Yeah. It's reciprocal. Yeah. And if people don't catch that part of the humbleness, that's why they never achieve greatness. Because they can't ever see the purpose of it.
The term greatness. I'm glad you joined us. You mentioned that term. We're gonna look at some video content to give reference to what we're talking about, the future of the development of art, before we introduce our founder and host. This artist here, we have 5 minutes to go. So we're going to look at this artist briefly as he mentioned the greatness. The greatness being this greatness that we share and experience of man and the creative endeavor. As we've been talking about the creative endeavor using the letter form and graffiti forms. We're going to look at this artist. He's cutting edge. This is some older work, but he's been pioneering for quite some time. And he is taking the concept of what we do with hip-hop forms. We take and combine things. Thus, in the DJ form, we take breaks in music and create our own sound. With graffiti forms, people do similar, and most of the 5 elements all share this principle. And we mentioned this artist to give reference to where street art, and graffiti art is being taken, as video is considered the next level of painting, the painting medium, interestingly enough, as it is a video medium. We're going to look at this collaboration of video, theater, photography, and painting. And our initial topic was about the phenomenon of where things started in this greatness. And we talked about the science and technology of how it began.
That has to be part of the future.
Yeah.
So take a look at this and tell me what you think. This is called Big Bang Booms, if we're talking about the creation and the phenomenon and spontaneity.
Just listening to Big Bang Boogie by Akbar.
Yes, great song. I remember that.
Yeah.
Check this out, the principle. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Let's do that back with sound.
Oh, the sound was gone.
The beginning versions. Painting work using stop animation. I know slang is
Yeah, this is good. Pretty much the same method as the time lapse, and you paint each sequence and shot.
So we're talking about the future of art and street art and graffiti art as outdoor, applications using the video medium. So you as an animator, I'm sure you could help us navigate this. I thought this was interesting.
Oh yeah.
The theatrical performance aspect.
It's beautiful. Really what's going on here is
This is hand painting, audience.
Yeah, he's actually painting an environment in the same way that an animator paints cell by cell. Freeze shot, shoots each one part by part in order to create an animated sequence. It's like a mixture of time lapsing and animation and live mural work. So a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people understand what's being done. It's a mixture of everything.
Right, so again, the concept of assimilation, the principle of hip hop.
Right.
All right, go ahead, continue, Slang, thank you.
The amount of work that has to be done for the things that we're doing right now, yeah, it's amazing. So every one of these, like if you could pause it and freeze frame it, each one of these is a sequence that probably has taken him anywhere from
a street artist,
15 minutes,
give us a call.
To 15
CanTV.org/hotline.
That's a lot of work.
I'm Trickster, your host. This is She Gallery Show. We're talking about the phenomenon of street art. We're joined by our esteemed guest. And we were looking at the artist Blue and the concept of the future and where street art and graffiti art forms can go. Okay, so we're joined again by Salim 500 and Slang, which have provided us a wealth of knowledge, experience, and professionalism. We appreciate it. We thank you for joining us. And we're going to take a break for a moment and bring in our founder to introduce our next season.
Our children gotta be in technology. They gotta be.
Everything
They gotta be.
We got robots in our pocket.
Right. Star Trek deal with this one.
Okay, thanks for joining us. I'm Trickster, your host. I'm here with the founder and primary host of the She Gallery Show, Dulce. Again, she has invited me. I really appreciate it for allowing me to share my experiences and my references and our connection as fellow artists. And I appreciate your commentary and your content and your call in. Thanks again, all of my guests. I appreciate it. And of course, CanTV. Dulce, please share with us our next season.
Thank you, T. Thank you so much. So this is season 5 of the She Gallery Show. And last season, you might remember that Trickster was one of the guests, and we were all so thrilled that he was here, and the calls couldn't stop. And we thank you very much for joining us and hosting. And not only hosting, producing, and now you're a member, and we really look forward to continue to growing with you. So I just really want to remind the audience of the birth of She Gallery. She Gallery started because I was in class after literally following dreams, and this class took me to a business for arts class, And there I had to pretend I could do whatever I want. And I pretended that I had my own gallery. And in this gallery, I hosted real graffiti artists that paved way for street art. I don't find it fair that street art has been able to be shown in galleries and has become so trendy and has really kind of stole a culture without paying its respect. I respect the street art for where it's been, but I also feel like we really need to respect the pioneers. And for that, I really thank you. So we were born in this pave way. If we could just go to our website really quick, to the S.H.E Gallery website. Can we go on there?
Sure, please, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So if we go on this website and you go to the first show that S.H.E Gallery ever had, it's called Paveway. And there I invited people that I grew up with, probably third generation, Trickster's first generation, and that's why it's such an honor
Here we are.
to have you here. So here we're talking about, if we go to the 2015-2016 events, if you visit our website, you'll see our first show, and that was Paveway. And I had to pretend, and I really see this connection of the phenomenon where you're just doing what you love. And here we're talking about earlier, our guests were mentioning when you were just doing what you were doing because you were doing what you loved. And S.H.E Gallery kind of started in that same way. I was in a party production and I learned that this is how we used to do things. I didn't have the money to build a gallery, so I built a website. Don't ever limit yourself. Continue to be you and do you. Don't limit yourself. That's how graffiti started and got so big, and we hope that S.H.E Gallery can be just as big and continue to grow. So part of what we're doing also is we're having an art exhibition that's coming up April 5th. So April 5th, we are going to be having our first members-only art exhibition. And if you see here, 4 of our artists are graffiti writers of 4 different generations, and that's one of the things that really differs S.H.E Gallery from different places. We only deal with real graffiti artists and people that really believe in themselves. So we have Diana Mendez, who's a clinician, she's a psychologist. We have myself, we have Dulce Santoyo, who is also a graphic designer, fashion, Gabriel Galvan, who really just does what he does, and you guys just have to meet him. Gabe One, Nikki Nax, Opec, Trickster One that we have here tonight. And we are going to be in partnerships with A Cup of Joe and many other community partnerships that we're continuing to build throughout the city and across the globe. So we really look forward. We thank Trickster again for joining us. We really look forward to season 6 because it's just going to get better and better. So thank you again. Join us again.